Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. Today I am going to teach you how to make a very simple and quick scrunchie. And I'm not going to waste your time, we're just going to continue with the process, okay? So I've already started by cutting out my piece of fabric. So I measured 5 inches for my width, and then I measured out about 32 inches for the length of the strap. So now I also cut out my elastic, and before I cut out, I just put the whole elastic around my wrist, and then I just cut out what my wrist measured. So that is to get the length of the elastic. But if you think that you can still measure any inch and still get it appropriate for your scrunchie, that is also preferable. So before we start, we are just going to take our strap, our cut out strap, and then we are going to turn it like this, such that the wrong sides are seen. So we're just going to turn it like this, such that the wrong sides are seen. And then you are going to leave 1 inch at the beginning over here. You're going to leave 1 inch at the beginning over here, and then you're going to leave another 1 inch at the end here. So you leave 1 inch here, and then you're going to leave 1 inch here, and then you pin this side. We are going to be stitching this side. This is the side we are going to be stitching. So you leave 1 inch allowance. So after leaving that 1 inch, you are going to start pinning the side that is going to need sewing. So this is my 1 inch, and this is the side that I'll be sewing. I'll be sewing the end that is joined, that is going to be joined, sorry. So I'm going to pin it together like this. You have to make sure that the parts that you are putting together are equal, so that it doesn't come out looking a little bit funny when you end up stitching. So I'm continuing my pinning. I'm almost done, and then we go to the stitching. We move on to stitch that side. So I'm done pinning. So after pinning, you are just going to stitch from where the pin started to where the pin has ended, leaving that 1 inch I asked you guys to leave at the beginning and then the end. Make sure you stitch not more than half an inch, not more than half an inch. So this is it. I have stitched. I'm done stitching it, and now that we are done, we're just going to turn it to the right side. We're just going to turn it to the right side, okay? Just give me a minute, because this is a very quick tutorial, so I do not want to waste your time. So this is it. This is how it's going to look like after you have turned it to the right side. Okay, so after we are done turning and turning, we are just going to join this side. We're going to join this end. We're going to join this end and the end of the other parts together like this. So this is how it's going to be. We are joining this end and this end together. and then you are going to stitch. You're going to stitch it nicely. So this is the one we are joining. This is the parts. So I'm going to hold it together with my pins so that it doesn't escape while I'm trying to stitch it. Okay, so one pin going in, another pin going in. Let me make it 3 pins. Then I'm done. Okay, 4 instead. So this is it. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. This is the part that I'm stitching. I just want to make sure that I am showing it to you properly. This is the part that I'm stitching. So I just finished with the stitching. You can see that it is not even more than half an inch. So we are going to proceed with our elastic insertion. But before you start, you have to make sure that you have a safety pin that you can use to go in. Okay, so in order to prevent the elastic from removing, we are going to stick it to one part of the end. So this is it. So I'm just going to put it here and I'm going to pin it so that while I'm sending it through, it doesn't come off. So this is it, and then I'm going to use the pin into the other end of this part of the whole thing. I'm going to put it here and then I continue. So I'm just going to be running it in till I get to the other end point. And you can see that as I am running it in, that fold from the scrunchie is forming. You can see that the fold from the scrunchie is forming. So I'm just going to continue till I get to the end of the tunnel. Till I get to the end. Okay, so this is it, and then I can bring the other one. I can now remove the pin and then I bring the other one out like this, and I can remove my safety pin as well. So we are just going to you can either hand stitch this tutorial, even you can hand stitch throughout because it is not something that is hectic or difficult to do. You can hand stitch, you can use a needle and thread, that's what I mean, or you can use the machine. So I'm just going to stitch this part together and then I'll let it sink in the scrunchie. So let's go and stitch. So I'm done stitching it, and now I'm just going to let it sink into the scrunchie. And for the remaining end, we are just going to fold in and then we are going to make a fine hem on it. We're just going to hem it down, or you can also use your machine to stitch on the fold. You can use your machine to stitch on the fold. Okay, so I'm done stitching on that fold, but then I used a machine. Don't blame me, I had my reasons. Okay, I used a machine to stitch on the fold, but this is what I meant by it won't look very clean or good when you use the machine. You can see that you can still see the stitches on that fold that I have made, but if you had used a fine needle and then a thread to make something like a slip hemming or a fine hemming, it would have turned out just great. It would have turned out just nice. So I'm done with my scrunchie. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial because it was a very quick one. Do me a favor by liking, subscribing, and commenting anything that you think you did not understand or anything you did not see. Okay, just do me that favor. So have a good day and bye bye.